And for the second time in 18 days, it is good afternoon to both Solihull Moors and Wrexham fans here at the SportNation.bet Stadium as the two teams meet here once again, this time not in the National League but in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round, and there's of course a place in the first round at stake. You're joining me on Solihull Moors TV in association with Primrose's Kitchen. I'm Ben McPhillips. Alongside me I have Michael Morryan, aka Stato, much better known of course as Stato around here. Good to have you joining me today.
Thank you very much, Ben. Good afternoon.
So for the Moors and Wrexham, there's a couple of changes to both the teams. A bit of a change in shape with Wrexham. It's a bit difficult to tell exactly how they're going to line up. For the lineups, Ryan Boot is in goal for the Moors. It should be Tyrone Williams, Callum Howe and Mitch Hancock as the back three. Then out on the right-hand side will be Cameron Cox and Jordan Cranston on the opposite flank. Callum Maycock comes into the team in place of Stephen Gleeson. He's alongside Kyle Storr as the two men sitting just in front of the defence. Jamie Osborne makes his first start of the season alongside Joe Sabara going forward in the midfield, while Adam Rooney is the lone striker. Meanwhile, for the visitors' starting lineup, Rob Lainton is the goalkeeper. We're expecting it'll be Theo Vassell who lines up at right back. James Horsfield is coming in at centre back alongside Fikra Keller today, while Jamie Record is out on the left-hand side. Then it's a bit of a confusion as to how exactly the midfield will line up. There's effectively four central midfielders in this team: Luke Young, Jay Harris, Jordan Davis and Dan Jarvis. We're expecting one of those will line out wide to the left, with Elliot Durrell lining up wide to the right and Adi Youssef being the lone natural striker. So we're expecting it's probably going to be a 4-3-3. Just exactly who lines up in the final third alongside Durrell and Youssef, we will find out in the next few moments. The substitute meant for the Moors: Niall Clayton is the goalkeeper, Jordan Piggott is a centre-back, Lewis Micchio is a left wing-back but has played out on the right in one of the pre-season friendlies, so we could see him there today. Joshua Shergill is available for the first time this season for the Moors on the bench. James Ball is an attacking midfield option but could play a bit of a deeper role today. Then it is Jamie Ward and Cameron Archer as two striking options available to the hosts. Meanwhile for Wrexham, it's just four visitors, down to four substitutes rather, just very much down to their bare bones. Christian Dibble is the substitute goalkeeper, Max Cleworth is a centre-back, Reece Johnson is the usual starting right-back, he's on the bench today, and Kwame Thomas, a former Moor, number 39, the striker, he is on the bench. So it is all four former Moors who are in action for Wrexham today. They are available, of course. There was no Adi Youssef for the game 18 days ago as he suffered an injury against Boreham Wood, was substituted in the first half of that game. And he, however, starts today. So it'll be interesting to see if Youssef can perhaps haunt the Moors. Of course, it's worth noting that the Moors have been in the second round proper in 3 of the last 4 seasons. Of course, the 4 seasons since they got to the National League, having won the National League North in 2015-2016. Joe Sabara is over the ball. Now, worth noting, of course, Wrexham have been in the third round proper a couple of times since they've been in the National League. They are, of course, the longest serving National League team in terms of their current spell. Joe Sabara is over the ball. Just to let you know, today we are lined up alongside the camera position that you can see, so your perspective is pretty much the same as ours, as Sabara is about to get the game underway for the Moors, who will of course be attacking the drain end in the first half. Just waiting for today's referee to get us underway, and now here we go. There's a quick pass from Storr short towards Sabara, and now Maycock looking towards the left-hand side with Jordan Cranston. So the Moors, different competition, different style of kicking off. The ball comes away immediately into the area. Looks like Vassell's got that ball away. So Vassell is playing at centre-back, as a matter of fact, which wasn't what we expected. Cox looking to get the ball out towards the right, just slightly inside down the right-hand side towards Sabara, but that is seen out well by Vassell. So it does look as if it is Horsfield who's actually playing at right back. So it is a like-for-like change with Horsfield coming in place of Reece Johnson. Meanwhile, it looks as if it is Jarvis who's lined up more towards the left-hand side of the midfield with, of course, Durrell, the natural right winger. The ball just coming out towards Youssef at the moment, but Williams wins the header Looks like that's Harris there trying to force it to the left with Record. It's going to bring you in, Stato, here. Of course, Wrexham traditionally such a strong defensive team, but an uncharacteristic game for them last weekend. They went down 4-3 at Wealdstone. That would have been a real surprise, and I think they've probably come into this game with a bit of a chip on their shoulder with something to prove, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely got something to prove. As you say, defensively strong. They have been for the last few years under Dean Keats, the manager, even when he was in the previous spell. They build from the back. They don't like conceding goals, so from to concede 4 in one game was a bit of an eye-opener, and they've got a point to prove. Obviously, they're struggling a bit with injuries today, hence why they've only got 4 on the bench. But it's up to these lads to keep the place in the team and make a strong start.
It is indeed. One place they're certainly not lacking for extra bodies is in the defence, so should there be any extra energy needed, not that you normally rely on that in defence, if you're going to rely on it anywhere, I suppose it would be in bringing on the likes of Reece Hall-Johnson, who of course got Wrexham's first goal of the season against Bournemouth, a fantastic burst down the field. At the moment, Wrexham keep the ball out on the left-hand side with Vassell playing across here to, this isn't Keller. Keller is out of position here. And now the ball comes the way of Jarvis. And now here's Harris to the outside with Horsfield, who finds himself in an advance role, looking to chip the ball through to Yusuf. Hancock gets his head out of the way. Of course, Hancock's is rather out of position as well. Naturally a left-sided player. So there's players in unusual positions for both teams, and of course we might well see James Ball playing a different role. Not exactly an unnatural role for him, but definitely by the standards of this season, an unnatural role. Of course, Ball, the match winner, with that header off of Jordan Cranston's corner at the near post in the second half of this fixture in the National League 18 days ago. Jarvis just spinning away from Sabara there. Able to play back to the cellar. Now here's Record, and there's bodies available down the line, but Record went for the high ball, and Tyrone Williams heads away, but it's intercepted there by Davis, who had Record behind him, and I think Record was looking to try and make the overlapping run as quickly as he could. Either way, it comes away of Yusuf, and there's a flag up for offside in the end. Of course, we did see in that game here against Wrexham Saturday 18 days ago that Wrexham really did control possession throughout, and the Moors had to show that defensive discipline that we hadn't really seen in the previous games under Jimmy Shannon. It was encouraging to see, and we saw more of that against Boreham Wood last weekend when it was very much enforced on the Moors after losing Darren Carter to a second bookable offence 20 minutes in. How encouraging is that a usually possession-based team in terms of their philosophy has been able to show that in recent weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great to the fact we've got the 3 clean sheets on the bounce. That's what will win your leagues. Keeping the clean sheets, keeping the tight defence. Having to do that change early doors after 20 odd minutes last week, it was good that the manager was able to change it. He did another sub before half time, taking Gleeson off and just changing it around a bit, having that adaptability.
You were talking about Dean Keats a moment ago. How big of an influence does the previous game make in terms of the personnel? I know that quite a few of these changes will be because there's a rather small squad at Wrexham available to play at the moment, but the likes of Durrell, the likes of Jarvis, of course they didn't start the game a couple of Tuesdays ago as the ball almost breaks away there for a Wrexham attack. Record now has it, but it's come back the way of Jarvis, and now towards the right hand side through Davis towards Horsfield, who's enjoying a roll further up the field today. And now a ball coming in towards Jarvis is easily intercepted by Cox, and Osborne is there to help clear up the pieces, although a short pass towards Storer gets intercepted. Now Durrell will fire from distance, but it's comfortably wide of Ryan Boots' far post. But just to go back to that point, Stato, about the need to show a bit of a different face to the Moors, how big of an influence is that for Dean Keats? Do you think that's really part of his game plan today?
Yeah, playing recently, you do all the preparation beforehand, watching the videos, how they play against other teams, but you've got that fresh in your memory of seeing it live, so there is that advantage for Wrexham. But of course, Solihull Moors have got the same advantage in that we've played against Wrexham recently. Hopefully we've picked up a few weak points for them, in the same way Wrexham hoping they've done the same for Solihull Moors.
For the Moors, just because Cameron Cox, who is on the ball now, he'd be the first choice at that position, and of course Jamie Osborne is back in the starting lineup as well, so there's a couple of enhancements there. There is the one downside of having Mitch Hancock slightly out of position, but he's done a good job there so far. The ball is chipped in towards Rooney, who is onside, appeals for a handball, but he does get a turn and a shot, Well, Vassell is able to see it go wide of the goal before collecting it just before it goes out in the end, but a half chance there for the Moors. Ball comes away with Yusuf there, and he shows good strength up against his former teammate, of course, Tyrone Williams. Now Young has space to attack against Storer, but goes outside right towards Horsfield. Going back the way of Harris here, and across to Vassell. So if anything, it looks as if Wrexham are at times just changing their formation, almost kind of playing that box midfield at times. They'll bring Durrell inside a little bit, then Young will play just behind Yusuf. That seems to be the shape at the moment, with a couple of the midfielders, Harris and Davis, just playing in front of the defence. So it looks like they're trying to match the Moors shape for shape where they can, as Sabara now gets the ball outside right, and Cox has some space to attack here, but now Record will close him down. Cox is going to try and take him on, then go inside. Storer makes a run and tries to slot far post, and it goes just wide. That was good anticipation there of where the ball was going to come from for Kyle Storer, and Cox saw the run. He did well to spot it.
Yeah, it was a cracking run down on the right-hand wing there from the Moors player, and he's played it through. Carl Storer has done well with his first touch, took it past the defender. He's kept his composure to shoot, but to be fair, Storer probably wasn't the one player you want in that position.
In fairness, Storer could have done a lot worse. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he wasn't far away from executing it. But either way, I think you have to say so far, this is almost like the game 18 days ago in microcosm. We're seeing Wrexham enjoy the possession, but when the Moors have gotten forward, there was that chance of Rooney just a moment ago. He had a bit of a tricky angle to work with, but Storer there, that was a definite opportunity. And the Moors just making more of the possession they do have.
Exactly. So whereas Wrexham will enjoy more of the ball, when the Solihull Moors have got it, they're doing more with it. They're happy to move down quicker down the wing, as we can see now. Obviously the ball just runs out of play on that occasion, but they're happy to go forward that little bit quicker, whereas Wrexham are happy just to play it along the back, wait for an opening and see what comes from there, without actually creating any solid chances as yet.
Indeed they haven't as of yet, but of course there's plenty of time for that to change. But the Moors are once again showing a good defensive shape, and they're countering well. At the moment, Wrexham once again have the ball just inside of Moors' territory. This is where most of the game has been played so far in these opening 10 minutes or so, as the ball comes out to the left with Jarvis. And then short to Durrell, but the Moors closing down the space as well. Is there going to be a free kick? No, a slip, says our referee, but then Storer is caught in possession by Durrell, who showed good work rate where to get that back now. A run being made by Harris, who is offside, and that, you thought that was tight.
I thought that was tight. I thought Mitch Hancock may have just played him onside. I thought he might have timed his run well there, but I'm not going to argue with the linesman this early in the game.
Of course you're not. Ryan Bick will just let the ball roll out. Of course, there's fourth round qualifying action in the Cup going on throughout the country today. Of course, there are already a couple of teams through. Chorley received a bye. Of course, they would have played... Well, I say they would have played Macclesfield Town. We don't know what would have happened if there was that extra ball in the draw. But Chorley, being the odd one out, get the beneficiary of being the odd one out, as the Moors won a free kick on the left-hand side for an alleged trick by Durrell on Cranston. But that is not given. The referee letting a lot go at the moment. That's a point we'll come back to in a second. The other team that have gotten a bye or through rather less, well, I say less fortunate circumstances, neither are the kind of circumstances that you really want to see, especially in Macclesfield's case. But Chorley, of course, being the beneficiaries in terms of getting a bye, with Macclesfield folding, and then Notts County being forced to forfeit their tie against Kings Lynn Town as a result of the COVID pandemic impacting their squad in numbers, as Tyrone Williams just manages to stab away that long clearance from Yusuf. Just to go back to the officials, you say you don't want to go after a linesman, and certainly you don't want to go after a referee, but you've probably got no reason to, Stato. The referee's letting a lot go on both sides, isn't he?
He is. He's letting the game flow, to be fair. The last thing you want the referee is stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. The two competitive teams, they will go in hard for the tackles, but as long as they're going in fair, there's no problem there. The incident there on the left wing, both teams were appealing for the free kick. Get on with the game, in all fairness.
Yeah, Moore seem to be appealing more, as Cox he's gone in fairly hard on record. I wonder if maybe the weather made that look a bit worse than it was, but I would expect Cox might go in the book for that one. Definitely caught him.
Coming back to hard but fair, that was hard, not fair.
Yes, indeed. We'll see what happens with Jamie Record here. We've seen him get up from these sorts of situations, of course, plenty of times as a member of the Moors. It does look as if it will just be a yellow for Cox. It wasn't exactly mistimed, it was just Record with a little shuffle at last second there. It was just a bit too quick for him, and it looks as if Cox is indeed going in the book.
Sorry, man. Yeah, he was. Record was too quick there for the Solihull Moors player, but the referee has got to make a stance there. If he lets that go just a talking to, then the players will just continue pushing the boundaries. So good referee.
Yes, indeed. Bit of a huddle just over on the edge of the penalty area with 4 Wrexham players. Kelleher was in there, so was Vassell, Davis and AD Yusuf. This is a pretty dangerous position for a free kick because, of course, Durrell can swing this in from here. So influential was Durrell in Altringham's promotion effort when they, of course, managed to beat York and Boston. And his reward, a promotion of a different kind, still in the National League, but of course with a different club, and arguably a more fancied one. And it will be he who gets the free kick in from this left-hand side. It's the near side, of course, from our commentary position. The Moors holding a 6 or 7 man line. It's going to be too close to Ryan Boot, who punches there, and it's come out towards Jarvis. Now Young, he has a strike on him from distance, but he is off target on that occasion. That's not really a position that the Moors want to leave Young in.
No, certainly not. You don't want to be leaving players with the quality of Young to have a shot at goal from there, but it does need something special to beat Ryan Boot from that distance.
Indeed it does. Boot was so special last weekend, of course, with a couple of great saves in the first half against Boreham Wood. There was, of course, the low save to his left off of Shimanga in the first few minutes of that game, and Moore's just looking to play out from the back there, and I think Wrexham did sniff something for a half second, but Callum Howe was able to sense that Yusuf was creeping up behind him. And of course the second great save was the one that was made against the, I can't remember his name, Whiteley, the former Bromley striker, of course, Corey Whiteley, who scored against the Moors last season in the last minute for Bromley. Ryan Boot making a great save to his right to deny Whiteley just towards the midway point of the first half in that particular game, and those saves from Boot really gave the platform the Moors needed to go on the counter-attack when they couldn't, and snatch a win in a game that they didn't necessarily deserve not to win. They worked well and truly hard enough to win it. In fact, I would say it was one of the most hard-working Moors performances I've ever seen. It's just an example again of Jimmy Shan's sides being in unfamiliar territory in terms of not having the possession, but making the most of their opportunities. And here Cox has gotten away from Durrell and did have some space possibly in front of him there, but there wasn't a run coming to the outside from Jamie Osborne, who had a man tracking him. To be fair, Young was there with him. It ends up being a Moors throw anyway, with Cox coming out to the right-hand side. This one going towards Rooney, and I think the Moors will be very happy just to get the extra territory from there, and that could well get Cox to try and get one looping into the box. Cox has a pretty decent throw on him. I'm a little bit surprised though that we haven't seen Jordan Cranston coming over to the right hand side at times, just because he has a real booming throw on him.
He certainly does. It's a case of the moment, just keeping the positions, not taking too many chances of people coming out. I mean, Osborne's got a good throw on himself. You always worry they might put his shoulder out.
Haven't seen Jamie Osborne on throws too often, of course. He's only played about 30 minutes of true action. He did, of course, come on very briefly towards the end of this fixture in the league. But now this time it will be Cox, and it will be short to Osborne, and now Cox on the overlap, trying to get a low cross in, but it's easily intercepted there by Record, who shows good touch to see Maycock away from the play, and now a ball through towards Durrell, and unfortunate for him there, he was looking to get Jarvis away on the left-hand side, and Jarvis and Sabara. But Sabara, not usually the man you expect to see back in that kind of position for the Moors, and I think they might have fancied that matchup there, Wrexham.
Yeah, definitely so. I think Sabara was coming to cover for Williams, who had been dragged in field by Yusuf. But yeah, if the ball was played cleanly, Wrexham could have been in there.
Was potentially a half a chance there indeed on the counter, and I think Wrexham will want to try and counter as much as they can, because they'll know that possession is not 9/10 of the law against the Moors. As the rain intensifies here at the Sport Nation. Oh, and Yusuf, can he get around Howie? He has, but has Howe been caught there? No referee lets that one go. Looked to be a 50-50 challenge there, but Howe is still down as a result of it. And Wrexham continue the attack through Harris, and a bit of a ricochet there, and eventually a free kick is going to go Wrexham's way. But Osborne leading the protest there for the collision between Yusuf and Howe, which did look from our perspective to be 50-50, but Howe definitely coming off the worst of the two.
Yeah, if anything, the Wrexham players were paying more for the free kick than the Moors ones. Whether Callum Howe's just caught the Wrexham player slightly late, but he's certainly come off the worst for it and has been down for a good minute now.
Yes, he has indeed. We do hope, of course, that Howe is going to be okay. The Moors really down to the bare bones in defence already, with Mitch Hancock's playing as the left-sided centre-back. Jordan Piggott is available should he be needed, but the Moors will be very much hoping that that will not be the case, especially not this early in the game. Howe is now just sitting, but looking in quite some pain. I'm trying to see, is it his knee maybe that's getting... Yeah, it does appear to be either his knee or his calf that's getting the attention there.
Well, he's already got some strapping on that leg, so you don't know if it's a reoccurrence of a previous injury. Hopefully it's just the contact which has done it and stunned him.
Either way, the outcome of it is a Wrexham free kick in a dangerous position that you would expect will test Ryan Boot. It's from the kind of position that Young scored that free kick, the winner on the opening day for Wrexham against Boreham Wood. That one was a little bit more to the right than this one. This one is dead central. Of course, the rain here has seen rather a few people stay away. If we look over towards the opposite side of the stadium from where we are in the Damson home stand, it's all rather empty indeed. Usually from our commentary position, which is just away to the right opposite us, we can usually see the likes of Darrell Eales and the Moors board taking it all in, but it looks like those numbers are rather fewer here today. Callum Howe is now just walking away towards the far left, and it looks as if for the moment the Moors are going to be down to 10 men while this set piece comes in. Joe Sabara standing right next to Luke Young there, almost as if he's trying to give Ryan Boot some sort of perspective on what to anticipate coming in.
Yeah, for me, from a defensive point of view, that's the best way to line up a wall. If you get a centre midfielder in that position there, it buys them time while the referee's actually putting the wall back.
So that is a tactical thing?
It should be, yeah, because there's less chance of the keeper being caught out on a quick free kick. They're not going to take a quick free kick because the players had treatment, but for me, great tactic to use.
Yeah, Horsfield is available. He's just kind of standing all alone towards the right, but I'd be surprised if this isn't a shot. Durrell jostling for position on the edge of the area, but this will surely...
Well, if Durrell keeps standing there, he's going to give away an indirect free kick, and I think the referee's coming over to warn him about that. If I was refereeing, I'd just let him get on with it and give away the free kick.
Yeah, you have to say good refereeing so far, although we said that throughout the first 45 minutes against Boreham Wood, and that turned out wrong in the second, and here comes the free kick, and it's a decent save in the end. Fairly comfortable for Ryan Boot. It was just not quite the power that Young would have wanted on that one. Not a bad attempt, but just not quite what you need to be, of course, one of the best goalkeepers in the National League. Of course, last weekend we had a great matchup of goalkeepers between Boot and Nathan Ashmore. It's safe to say that Boot won that matchup, although Ashmore did, of course, make that excellent save from Jordan Cranston's free kick. At the moment, the Moors have a free kick off their own just out towards the right-hand side. Referee not happy with Tyrone Williams looking to take it from the position he was in. A bit too far forward was the call there. So now Storr trying to go for a through ball, and it actually comes nicely towards Rooney off of a ricochet, and now Sabara look at Cox in behind, and the cross comes low and almost reaches Rooney. Could Cranston steer it in? There was a clearance there. It looks like it was Durrell that had come back there, and the ball is deflected off of Cranston and out for a goal kick, but that really could have gone anywhere.
It could have gone. It was a brave clearance from Durrell to hit it straight at the Moors player, but fortune favours the brave, and it's gone out, and Wrexham get possession back with a throw-in their left-back position.
Yes, they do indeed. Of course, there's plenty of big bodies that could see this come back the other way. And the Moors so far are enjoying a fair bit of success on Jamie Record's side, which is a bit of a surprise given that Record is the most experienced and most natural wing back in this Wrexham team.
Indeed, yes, and with his speed and pace down that wing as well, you wouldn't have thought he'd be beaten so easily as he was on that occasion.
Kelleher just seeing the ball away, and that's a rather loose challenge there from Osborne, but the referee's going to play the advantage. Durrell looking for a through ball that was much overhit. Don't think there was too much in that challenge from Osborne in the end, but he did catch the defender, I believe it was Kelleher. It's a little bit late, the ball breaks out towards the right, and Cox once again gets around a man down that side. This time it's Durrell, and he just brushes past Young, and now a ricochet brings it to Sabara. Now Storer could look for Cranston, goes that way. Cranston with a volley, looking for Rooney, and well, that was a kind of half cross, half shot, and looked like Leighton there wasn't entirely sure of what to do with it, but either way it goes just wide.
Yeah, it looked like Leighton was actually anticipated across to Rooney rather than the shot. But fortunately for Wrexham, he just evaded Adam Rooney there and went out for the goal kick.
Yeah, I think that caught everybody in two minds, didn't it? I guess the question for the Moors, in terms of your progress down the right-hand side is good. But if you're Jimmy Shan, you might be wondering here if there's anything you can do a bit extra to make a difference in the game. It's getting Jamie Osborne involved, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, Jamie Osborne hasn't had enough of the ball, for my liking anyway. He's a constant threat for the Moors as Rooney, the ball overruns to the goalkeeper there. Rooney's obviously a pivotal figure in the middle, but if you get more support from others, then hopefully more opportunities.
Osborne, of course, got 2 goals in the National League fixture between these two teams here last season. One of those directly from a corner. As here Record, who of course himself scored in that fixture as well for the Moors. Bit of a wayward ball out towards Cranston. Now Osborne with a chance potentially to get involved in the game, but unable to get by Harris there, who will play back towards Leighton in the Wrexham goal. Yusuf does get a head onto the ball there, but not able to direct it anywhere. All he could do really was just to get his head to it and not much else, as now the ball once again will come the way, probably the most influential man for the Moors so far in Cameron Cox. Now Maycott looking for a long ball out his way, and Cox has beaten Jamie Record, but can he get to the ball? You should do these actually. And the first time cross was looking for Osborne, but Vassell was in front of him. Sabara was in the region as well, and Record is able to clear up towards Yusuf. He does get a flick on. This could break towards Young, but it has clearly gone out of play. Just in this gantry that we're in, it's sometimes difficult to see who's getting the delivery in. It was Tyrone Williams that time. Hancock's now has it on the left. Wrexham, to be fair, they are doing a good job of closing down the space when the ball is coming down that left-hand side. I suppose it doesn't matter how experienced you are at left wing-back if you can't deal with the pace of Cameron Cox.
Definitely so. Like I say, one of Jamie Record's great strengths is his pace and his reading of the game. You saw there with the tackle there, straight back up, and he was there ready for Wrexham to pass the ball back to him. Although we're having much joy down the right, he always remains there, strength on the left.
Definitely so. Durrell at the moment just looking to play a ball outside right. Horsfield has the space closed down quickly by Cranston, but there's a flick on by Jarvis towards Yusuf, who we know can hold up the ball well. And Durrell able to play it out off of Maycott for a throw in an advanced position for Wrexham. We'll see if Horsfield has any kind of deep delivery on him. Yusuf, the only man at the moment in any kind of deep position in the penalty area, as now Jarvis joins him, and this does go short, and that's good anticipation there from Cranston, able to help the ball away. Now Sabara looking to steal it away from one of the Wrexham midfielders there, but it comes towards Jarvis. Jarvis was looking for Yusuf to make the run to the right, not to the left, and just a little bit of miscommunication there, just in terms of players not thinking the same way, but that could have been dangerous for the Moors if Yusuf had gone to the right. It was intercepted in the end, but certainly Yusuf just looking to peel off of Tyrone Williams at times. That time Cox makes a defensive play, but now, oh, good ball through from Maycock as it was given away in the midfield, and now Rooney, can he take on Keller? He's going to try and go outside and then shoot, and it's spilt there, but nobody able to follow up for the Moors as it falls safely to Young. But once again, the Moors continuing to make things happen on the counter.
Yeah, definitely so. Rooney there, he's come through, he's gone past Kelleher and he's gone one-on-one with the keeper. But with no other options there, all he could do was shoot. Like I say, Leighton, he's just kept it out, pushed it out forward, and Wrexham come clear again. But it's Moors on the attack here.
Absolutely. It seemed like Leighton knew that he could spill that ball, as now Cox plays short towards Sabara, and there's space, well, there was almost space for Williams, but it's closed down quickly by Record. Now a ball inside, just goes beyond Osborne. And now Davis will get the chance to bring Durrell into play, and now Wrexham on the counter. Not much support, and here comes Cranston racing back, but the ball does come inside to Youssef, and now to Jarvis. Good play here. Wrexham able to get those quick passes off that they needed to, but now a ball across field is wayward, and Cranston sees that one well beyond the halfway line. And that's the kind of speed in passing that you really do need to bring something a little bit different to beat a Moors side like this with the pace that they have, with Cox and Cranston recovering back into those defensive areas. You do need to get your passes off and your bodies forward as quickly as you can, and almost just try and overwhelm the Moors. And Wrexham nearly doing that before that crossfield ball went wayward. But now Hancock's played back towards Howe, and well, you can see where this one's going, can't you? Cox now once again. That time Jarvis is back to help, and the space is closed down rather quickly. But that may open up space towards the left, as now Maycock and Hancock's play the 1-2. Now Osborne being marked there closely by Keller. The ball inside towards Sabara, just blocked off there by Jamie Record. Good physical play by Record, and in the end it's actually he who wins the free kick.
Yeah, there was a pull back there by the Solihull Moors player, and the referee wanted to play the advantage but wasn't sure if it was there, so blew the whistle, and that enabled the Wrexham player to run clear and then claim the advantage. But good refereeing there from Martin Woods.
Yes, once again, Record doing a good job there of when he has been able to get inside and been able to get away from that matchup with Cameron Cox. He's enjoyed much more success, as you would expect. Wrexham once again just looking to set up from the back, as Sabara closes down against Vassell here. And you can see, from the defence onwards, you look at Callum Howe, you look at Tyrone Williams, they can sense that there's no space for Wrexham to operate with. And they're encouraging the forward men to push higher. Now there's a bit of space for Record to attack, and Cox has to stand off of him. Could allow the space for a cross, as here comes Jarvis, ball coming inside towards Davis. He had a bit of space, but it was a bit too far out to shoot. Now Horsfield with a chance to cross. Good from the Youssef. Record is there as well, headed by Young, bit of a ricochet. Record spins and fires wide. I think the angle may have just been covered, whichever side of the net he wanted to aim for. But either way, that's Wrexham's first real close-range opportunity of the game.
Yeah, so it's nearly on the half-hour mark here, and you'd have to say the Moors are controlling this pretty well. What we're doing well is, with Wrexham only have one out-and-out striker, out of Youssef, it is allowing Tyrone Williams to free up and push on, which allows Cox to go further on and almost be on top of Jamie Record in the left-back position. But Callum Howe, great reading of the game with Tyrone Williams here, and he just helps the Moors build up.
It does indeed. Store at the moment just playing the ball towards the left with Maycock, who has space to run into here. Cranston is ahead of him, but he goes outside towards Hancock, and that's exactly what you were talking about a moment ago, Stato, but on the left-hand side, as Kelleher slides in to prevent the ball coming Rooney's way, and that's a corner Moors.
Yeah, and that's what the Moors have just got to continue doing. Williams and Howe, without tempting fate, are very comfortable at the back, and that's where the Moors are great, and how to push on, because they can get someone who can drop into the back then and move. So whether it's on the right hand side with Cox, brilliant, or if it's with Hancock's further on the left with Cranston, superb. And
now there's a chance for Callum Howe to get into the game in an attacking area as he's forward for this corner. Maycock is in the area too. Otherwise, everybody from a defensive standpoint, really, it seems, staying back, although Hancock's is in the area as the ball comes in. It's headed away, but only as far as Storer, who teases a shot and then goes for it. And who's that come off of? Has that come off of Maycock or a Wrexham man? Wrexham man is the decision. And it's a corner this time on the other side of the drain end. And now this will be one of Cranston's in-swingers. It's the out-swinger that's gotten the Moors a goal in a couple of games so far this season. but you'd maybe say that the in-swinger is the more dangerous set piece, and this time Tyrone Williams is forward. Cox and Hancock's the only players back. Joe Sabara just on the edge of the area. There's some free Moors players right on the goal line. Here it comes towards Howe at the back post, and that's come off of Keller, I believe. Yes, it has corner once again. This is good pressure from the Moors.
Yeah, and you tell from a Solihull Moors point of view that they can make one of these set pieces count. Obviously, Wrexham bringing everyone back. There's no outlet for them there, so if they do clear it, you'd hope that it can fall maybe to Hancock's or Cox, and they can get it straight back in the box again just to start another attack.
Just feel as if there's a bit less possession going Wrexham's way at the moment. As the corner comes in and Storer was trying to win the ball at the near post with Harris, all was fair there, and now there could be a chance of course for a counter as Yusuf played a great ball towards Jarvis, who's ahead of Sabara here, just bringing it towards the right hand side, and the shot is straight at Boot in the end, and Boot, just like the one with Leighton a few minutes ago, knew that he was able to just spill that in front of him and that he'd be able to regather it, but that was a sign of the danger that Wrexham have on the counter-attack. Almost say the Moors. We were just saying the Moors just feel like they're gaining more of the momentum in terms of possession in this game. But that can lull you into a false sense of security, can't it, at times?
Oh, definitely so. I mean, the way that the Wrexham just ran out from the penalty area there was superb, and all of a sudden there's four of them in the attack. They played the long ball through. I think Cameron Cox was trying to play the offside, but wasn't too sure if he should do it or not. And Wrexham cleared through, but like I say, Ryan Boots fully aware of his surroundings and was able just to palm it away.
Hancock's with a beautiful chip ball towards Jamie Osborne, who was just tripped up there by Horsfield. I think there might have been a hand to the face there as well, potentially. Difficult to tell from our side of the field, but Osborne.
Yeah, Horsfield's put his arm out there just to try and stop Osborne getting past him. Nothing malicious in it whatsoever, it's just he's caught him slightly high.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Is the referee going to get the card out here? He is indeed. Which I think will always happen in that area of the field. This is, of course, going to be a very dangerous set piece for Wrexham to deal with. It's interesting to see, actually, who will get this one in, because it's almost like you could get Cranston just guided into the area, but then you know what Osborne can do from all sorts of positions, him being the talent he is. You do wonder if maybe this is going to be Osborne to just blast it in and hope that something happens rather than Cranston guiding it in.
Well, that was a good thing about having the two of them over the ball. It creates some doubt in the Wrexham box. They don't know which way it's going to come in. Is he going to be an in-swinger? Is he going to be an out-swinger? Adam Rooney's gone over there and he's going to take a chance on me. Look for me at the far post. I want this ball. I want to score.
Callum Howe and Tyrone Williams are both at the back post as well, and we know what they can do. Mitch Hancock's is lined up in a position right on the edge of the area, and it does make you wonder, might the Moors try that? Osborne just giving a look his way at first, and now it is going to be blasted in it, straight into the wall. There should be a second ball coming back, however, as Storer plays back the way of Cox. Now Maycock out towards Tyrone Williams, needs some help, has to go back to Cameron Cox to find it. Looking for Howe there, who'd stayed forward, and now there could be another counter on for Wrexham, as here's Horsfield looking to play it forward, but just finding Hancock's in his way, and then Howe recovering manages to disrupt the counter there. So that's good work from Callum Howe as he came back into his defensive position. And the ball in the end goes out for a Moors throw. So that time, good work rate from the Moors preventing the counter, but now a high ball could come the way of Sabara, but Vassell does make the important interception. And now a hard challenge there from Hancock, and he's come away with the ball via Osborne, but then there's a free kick going Wrexham's way. So Osborne, a judge who has just followed up there on, I believe it was Harris.
Yeah, so Jay Harris was the man who was fouled there, and it looked like it was a serious injury. And then all of a sudden he's got up and said that Jamie Osborne should be booked, and now he seems fine.
Is that your first pop of the day? Harris is going to get this free kick away from just outside of Moors territory. And it does look as if Wrexham players are going to be encouraged to push forward here. Free kick comes from Kelleher and is much beyond everybody in a red shirt. Young manages to guide it back the way of Record, and doesn't look as if there's anyone charge, or Sabara does in the end charge down that cross. This may be a chance, of course, for Wrexham to try and re-establish the possession-based advantage that they've enjoyed for a fair chunk of this first half. I think you'd probably say that this has been, if it has been the game 18 days ago in microcosm, it's perhaps just being played at a higher pace.
Yeah, there certainly does seem a little bit more pace than there was in that first home game of the season. Both teams, they do look comfortable on the ball, but both the opposition happy to close down, as we can see there from Cranston on the left. It is a better pace. There was a bit of a touch of a pre-season friendly to that first league game, but obviously today's the day. It's the FA Cup. You only get the one chance at this, so there's a bit more urgency from the teams. Saying that, I think with 8 minutes to go to half-time, both teams are probably happy to keep it goalless, not to go a goal behind, because it's a bit of a mountain to come back up.
It is indeed, particularly. I mean, if you were looking at it from the moment, even though Wrexham have had the more of the possession, or so it feels, you'd say that the Moors look the most likely team to score.
Certainly look more dangerous going forward than what Wrexham do, but it only needs that one half chance to go right.
Appeals to the ball having gone out there, and it did indeed. Jarvis there just appealing against his opposite number Cox and winning his case. Throw-in's gone all the way back to Vassell, and I think that's just a sign of what you were talking about there, Stato, that the two teams are just going to try and slow it down a little bit in these last few moments before half-time. I'm sure the weather as well will play something of a factor in that, as the rain has probably been the heaviest it's been all day at times in this first half. As now Durrell looking to spin away from Callum Howe, who had ventured high up the field there. And the Moors taking the opportunity to press high up the field as a result of that, and Vassell nearly losing the ball, and in the end the Moors do win possession, albeit slightly further back as Cox plays forward towards Sabara, and now Cox with Rooney inside, going to go for it himself, no slot for Rooney, and just caught there, but the ball was won, and now Sabara, and deflected, and in! And Joe Sabara has gotten the goal. We were just saying the Moors looked the more likely to score, and in the 39th minute of the game, Joe Sabara, the effort deflected after Rooney was just not exactly tripped there. There definitely was no foul, but I don't think he anticipated that the Wrexham player was behind him there. I think he thought he had more time than he had, but the ball came back towards Sabara, and a couple of ricochets, not much really that the goalkeeper could do from there, and Sabara makes it Moors 1, Wrexham 0. It
was a great strike from Joe Sabara. Like you say, the challenge has gone in on Rooney, and while some Moors players are appealing for the penalty and the Wrexham players are looking at the referee, see what he gave, Joe Sabara plays to the whistle and just fires it home. Exactly, you just a bit of an opportunist strike there, really, from Sabara, just having a pop and seeing what happened with it. All you've got to do is get it on target, and you never know what can happen, and that's exactly what he did. And the deflection beating Leighton, and a goal at a crucial time for the Moors. And with the way that the game has gone in the last 10 minutes, really, these last 10 minutes have been the Moors' their best spell in any of these two games that the two sides have played here. And you just wonder, with that momentum going their way, could they maybe kick on from here? If they can get a second before half-time, that of course would be huge. Oh, it'd be great if we could get a second goal before half-time. They are two evenly matched teams. They know, obviously, with so many ex-Moors players playing for Wrexham, we know a lot about them. They know a lot about us, and it's easy for the two teams to cancel each other out on there. However, like I say, when Solihull Moors get the ball, they seem to want to do more with it than what Wrexham are doing. Wrexham quite hard to pass it at the back, but now that will have to change, being a goal down. Yeah, and for the neutral, if there are any neutrals watching it, it's certainly been an entertaining game, because you do think, having played each other as recently as the teams have, and of course with Wrexham having so many ex-Moors players, of course there's 4 in the squad, 3 of them are on the field at the moment, you know, that there is always that threat that the two sides can cancel each other out. But it's been great to see that hasn't happened, and it's also great from a Moors perspective to see that the deadlock has been broken in this first half, as now once again Sabara looking to play a through ball, and Rooney and Vassell rather dragging each other to the ground there. I think that was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Now Kelleher not quite anticipated the ball coming his way, and all a bit of confusion for him, but eventually Wrexham do manage to scramble it away, and now they could have a counter on. Hancock's racing back into the heart of the defence, and Maycock going out towards the sideline there to challenge Horsfield. And then once again Hancock's, look at the energy there, as he races right back to the middle and then back out to the midfield once again. Young trying to guide it through and very nearly getting it through there towards Jarvis, and there was another man up there through Yusuf, but now there could be space for the Moors to go forward, and the ball in towards Rooney's. Well, the Moors won a free kick there. I think that probably in terms of what the referee hasn't given, that was probably the one where the Moors had the best case.
Yeah, possibly so. Rooney's saying he's been challenged in the back there. He certainly wasn't side on side with the defender. He's ended up on the floor, so there's a good chance the defender has gone through the back of him in the air. Rooney obviously still not happy, still telling the referee. The one thing I will say is about the rain. You mentioned a few minutes ago it's getting heavier and heavier, and it is getting heavier, and you can see that with the spray coming up with the ball travelling. Thankfully, the Moors has an excellent pitch with drainage. You always wonder what the rain will be like at half time. Would it cause any problems for the start of the second half?
Yeah, that's a good point. It certainly, I've been keeping an eye on that for around 10 to 15 minutes or so now, and it's becoming more and more visible. And there was just a sign, maybe just a couple of moments before the goal, that it was starting to affect the play, and certainly from Wrexham's perspective, you were looking at going in at 0-0 and really being happy with that from Dean Keating's perspective. Now Wrexham have a attack on the left hand side as Record has found space. Cox drifted too far inside and rather afforded that to him, and now Harris is up against Sabara there and has rather pushed off as Sabara there looking to win the ball. But in the end that could set up a counter for the Moors, and it has indeed, and Sabara has Rooney potentially in position there, and I'm pretty sure that that's onside, but it's either way bit too close to Lainton, and Wrexham escaped there. Kelleher was trying to play the offside trap. That was a dangerous game.
I think the linesman has given a signal that he would have flagged it eventually if Rooney had caught the ball. I'm not too sure if he wanted a repeat of Pickford and Van Dijk last week, but if the player's running through and he's clearly offside, the flag should go up, but I don't make the laws.
Do any of us? Hancock's out with the ball on the left hand side. Now I was going to say a moment ago as well, in that challenge with Rooney, when he felt he was being pushed in the back, and certainly I agreed with that. It looked as if Cranston was actually trying to pick out Sabara there, who had the greater space towards the right hand side. Referee just wants a word with Joe Sabara here. Referee for a moment there, CJ Harris trying to get the ball away. I think he thought that Rooney might have just given him a slight kick in the leg there. I don't think he really expected that. And the rain certainly is now getting the heaviest it has been all day. Sabara is going to go in the book. Did you see what that was for?
I just think he just caught him slightly late. There's nothing too malicious about it, but again, it's about the referee setting his standards early. He's cautioned the Moors player early on, Cox. He's cautioned another Wrexham player, and now he's cautioned the Moors player. Whether it's the rain coming into it, he doesn't want players to be pushing the boundaries too much, but he just thought that was worthy of a yellow card.
Yeah, and now certainly we can hear the rain above us on the gantry here, so that's the indication of just how heavy it is, as the ball is nodded away by Williams towards Maycock, and now here's Cranston really looking to race onto it, doing well there against Kelleher, but Kelleher just guides it away from him. I think it might have bounced potentially into Rooney's arm, and that's why that decision has been given. And Leighton going to come off of his line here to get this one down the field, so that invites Vassell and Kelleher. Yeah, Kelleher was already forward. 2 minutes of stoppage time as the ball races the way of Kelleher, and he's just flattened Ryan Boot there. Well, the Moors certainly not happy about that. I think Boot knew that Kelleher was there and knew he was coming. Whether or not there's going to be any action against Kelleher, it's
I'd expect a yellow card
there.
Yeah,
maybe a yellow. Usually the goalkeeper gets enough of a benefit of the doubt in that situation that you get a yellow come out there. There was certainly no maliciousness in the challenge.
Yeah,
He just was too late to the ball. Boot was always in front of him there, always the favourite. And
Yeah.
so I think a booking most likely is the correct call there.
Spot on, Ben. Ryan Boot there, experienced goalkeeper. He knows he's going to get clattered there. He's prepared for it as the ball comes in. Keller is a defender. He does what defenders do. And he's just gone through him. He's left his mark there. Nothing malicious. He's not gone out to hurt Ryan Boot. He's just left his mark there.
Exactly. Boot is just now sitting up and looks like he will be fine to return to the action and probably be thankful for a half-time break coming his way in the next minute and a half. You would guesstimate that might potentially add on some extra time to stoppage time.
Yeah, I don't think the rest of the players are happy that Boot took so long to get treated there in this pouring rain. They're happy for him just to get on with it.
Indeed, I think that's safe to say, but you certainly can't blame Ryan Boot for that, getting absolutely rather flattened there. Certainly the height difference doesn't that make that one the prettiest of challenges to have to take.
No, and Keller has got to be careful now, especially in the second half. He's on a caution here. The conditions aren't the greatest with all the rain coming down. If he stays the same in the second half, he's going to be up against experienced strikers such as Rooney, so he's going to have to be very careful.
Well, here's Osborne potentially breaking into a little bit of space. Appeal for handball there. I think the ball just may have bounced off of the arm of Maycott, and it goes out for a Moors throw, and this one's going to be around the halfway line. Referee just looking over towards the sideline, but I don't believe there's any indication that he's going to blow the whistle just yet, so we could well have one more attack from the Moors. Osborne looking to guide the ball forward towards Rooney, who's done well to shield off Keller, and the ball rather dying on that side of the pitch. Osborne at the moment playing this as if it's the 90th minute rather than the 45th. Now he turns away from Horsfield and does a good job to win a corner.
Yeah, so into the last few seconds of the first half here now. So Moors putting as many men up front as they have done for every other set piece. Don't think there's enough time for Wrexham to clear it and go up the far end.
Yeah, you can almost throw caution to the wind here. There's surely not enough time for a counter. At least you would hope that there's not enough time from Moore's perspective. Maycock is on the back post, right on the goal line. Williams on the near post as Howe now joins him on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Rooney takes that place at the near post now. Callum Howe is making a run all the way round, and the ball comes his way. It's just about cleared by Keller, who takes a challenge of his own, and that is the half-time whistle as Mitch Hancock blasts it towards goal, and the half-time whistle goes right before that. So a good first half from Moore's perspective. I think you would have been relatively happy with it from a Wrexham perspective until the goal went in. The Moors certainly though were looking much more dangerous than they did at any point during the first Wrexham game here 18 days ago, and they, as a result of that, have come away with a half-time lead.
Yeah, like you say, at 0-0, and we mentioned just before Solihull Moors scored, both teams seem to be just almost accepting it to be goalless at half time, to still be level pegging, but then Moors get the goal and that changed the mindset, so the two managers will go in there and it changes the team talk completely. So Dean Keith will be in there trying to lift the Wrexham spirits, telling them where they think the weaknesses are with the Solihull Moors, but they got 45 minutes to get it sorted.
Well, do we have 45 minutes, we wonder, with the rain getting as heavy as it is. We'll of course the pitch is great here at Downsend Park, so we'll hope that we can get the rest of the game in, but certainly things getting worse here as we head towards half-time, where it is Moors 1, Wrexham 0. You're joining us on Solihull Moors TV in association with Primrose's Kitchen. We'll see you just after the half-time break.
Yeah, so Sands is a baby loss charity, and we're part of Sands United Solihull Football Club. So Sands it's a great way for poor parents, isn't it, who have bereaved parents who have suffered a loss. You know, they do great work with families. You know, they're there for them, support them, do aftercare with them and stuff like that. Look at it as a positive that this team was started to help other bereaved dads, and you know, if the goal was if we could have just helped one, then you know, job done, or you know, something's achieved. But I think, you know, we've got what 15, 16 bereaved dads, brothers in the team. You know, someone that's representing somebody that suffered a loss. There's a stigma around that men don't talk about things, and you know, with football, it's a way to bring guys together. You know, when we have new dads down, nobody is forced to talk about things. But there's no pressure, and you know, when we could have, we'd have a pint together afterwards, and I'd speak about my son Lucas that we lost, and me even speaking about him could then bring him into the conversation and be like, oh yeah, that happened with us as well. And then let's have it opens up the conversation with new people. Like, we've got guys on the team that know the same midwives who are at the same hospital, you know, so everybody's connected in some way, which is the good thing about it. Just get in touch with us. We've got a Twitter page, Facebook page, you know, Sands United Solihull. We've got Instagram. We had a new dad contact us today on Twitter, so he'll be coming down for next week. So, you know, anyone out there that wants to get involved, don't worry about age, fitness, like, you know, like it's irrelevant. Come down, get involved. You know, again, there's no pressure. You don't have to be a Ronaldo. You know, get involved.
Miles, your lads had quite a night last night, didn't they? History makers, and what a night it was.
It was good. I'm very happy. Very happy. I've settled down a little bit from last night. Brilliant performance. I say this every week. The lads put in a great performance. The result was fantastic, and I can only be very happy for the lads and for the staff and everyone involved last night. It was a brilliant night to be involved with, and to do it in such style as well, where we played most of the game with no pressure, in my opinion, from Kettering, maybe 5-10 minutes, but other than that, dominant display again, both in possession, out of possession, transition. We played a different way last night, one that maybe we weren't expecting to play. We got to the ground and the pitch wasn't great. It was quite hilly, but we adapted. We played long, direct, and landed on second phases. And to be honest, we probably played to Kettering's strength, but it worked in our favour. So for us to get a result at 3-1 and through to the first round proper in the first time in, I think it's the history of the football club, to make it through to the first round proper of the FA Youth Cup. It's brilliant. We move on to the next game now, and we prepare for a Lincoln game that, as we know, is going to be difficult. It's going to be very strong. They're a good team. I know a little bit about them already, but we've got to do our due diligence now and make sure that we're prepared properly for that game in 2 weeks' time.
Let's just go into the 90 minutes then. So you go ahead, and then just before the half-time interval, you get the crucial second goal. And we spoke off camera, it was a key moment to get that second goal. Yeah,
I mean, the first goal was brilliant. Jack Sang won the ball under pressure. He's got it. He's cut inside on his left foot, and he's walloped it in the top corner. And the reaction from the bench says it all. It was brilliant. And then the second goal, as you say, we got it before half-time, where probably in a period of pressure, period of that difficulty, that 5-10 minutes, that Kettering gave us a little bit of a shock, a little bit of surprise. We needed a goal before half-time, and for us to get it 2 minutes, 3 minutes before, that certainly changed the half-time team talk. But the messages were clear at half-time. We make sure that we continue to play the way we can play, land on second phases, and continue to see the next 45 minutes out to make sure we win the game.
And like you said, the second half comes, and I guess they're wanting to put the pile of pressure on your team, and they get that goal. So there's almost, was it a bit of a squeaky bum until the
yeah. When that first goal went in for Kettering, so it was 2-1. I turned around to Darren Carter and Corey, and I said, this is difficult now. We've got to get through some adversity. Okay, we'll see how the lads respond. Who's got a bit about him to make sure that we see this game out. And then we got the third goal, so Jordan goes and scores a bullet header. So to get that third goal, fantastic, in a time, like I said, where we were dominant in possession. And then the last 10 minutes is just about who can keep it, who can keep that last 10 minutes and make sure that we don't concede another late goal, and like you said, make it another squeaky bum time. But as 1 minute was coming up to the full-time whistle, I had the feeling that the job was done.
So 2 rounds down, and looking forward to, you touched on it, but Lincoln coming to the main pitch again, the main stadium, and I guess from the last time the lads played on the pitch, it almost gave them, or they got used to the surroundings, didn't they? Yeah, no,
I would have preferred a home game, so I'm glad it's at home. I'm glad we're back on the pitch again. The opposition is frightening, okay? I'm not going to stand here and say it doesn't scare us, but I'm sure the lads will rise to the challenge, and the challenge is what excites us. And we make sure that, like I said, we do our due diligence, we do our research, and we make sure that we're prepared properly for that Lincoln game. The environment's a good environment. We've got great facilities here, as you can see behind me. We've got a training pitch which is fantastic, where the lads can train, and we're hoping the grass is perfect for the way we can play on 2 weeks' time against Lincoln. So we're looking forward to it, and like I said, it's the challenge that excites us.
Hello fellow Moors fans. Last summer I signed up to the Solihull Moors 500 club. I wanted to support the club in a different way, on top of going to many of the games. I won a second prize of £150 just about a year ago, and just last month I've won 2 tickets to the boardroom for a match of my choice. Hopefully I'll be able to use it this season. And really, I just wanted to let everybody know my experience of the 500 Club has been a good one, and I can't wait to get down and watch some live football again. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.
Welcome back to Solihull Moors TV in association with Primrose's Kitchen. We're back here at the SportNation.bet Stadium for the start of this second half in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round tie between Solihull Moors and Wrexham. Moors a goal to the good following Joe Sabara's deflected effort in the 39th minute of the game, and the game really similar to the game here around 18 days ago. The referee did a good job of letting the ball sneak through there towards Horsefield on the right hand side. But really this game, similar to that game in microcosm in the first half, but played at a higher pace, and of course we have a goal already. We had to wait another 11 minutes before we got one in the National League fixture when James Ball headed it at the near post. There was a bit of a word with the referee and both of the dressing rooms from what we can tell at half-time, Stato. So there is clearly concern, but the pitch at the moment, from what you can see on the TV feed, looks pretty good. There's a bit of concern maybe just going out towards the wide left here, around the area where Jamie Record just played the ball, but other than that, not too bad, it appears. Looks like the pitch holding up well, which you'd expect.
Yeah, it certainly looks a lot better than it was doing 15 minutes ago, where the concern was in the Solihull Moors right back area. But Gary Birch and his team work like Trojans, and thankfully it's not too bad as we see Puddle spurt up there.
Yeah, Kelleher just potentially struggling to keep his balance there, but all well that ends well. And the ball is now back with Vassell, and he's looking for the long ball going down towards Durrell, and he's taken it down well. Very good first touch, and across coming in low towards Yusuf Jarvis. Could try and get in front of Cameron Cox, but Cox showing good pace, though he's running to that damp patch. So I think he sensed that, and he just played it off of Jarvis and out for the throw, which is a good outcome for the Moors there, considering that Wrexham had a good couple of players going forward there, and Durrell getting ahead of his marker there. Really, that's the first time we've seen that sort of thing all game, where of course there was that chance that was hit straight at Booth to the counter-attack early on. But that's the first time that Wrexham have been able to get players forward in numbers in the penalty area, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a superb run down the right-hand side from Elliot Durrell. He's played a lovely ball into the box, but unfortunately for us, just evaded their strikers who are attacking.
Yes, indeed. Cox has just had to play the ball out there for a corner up against Jarvis there. Jamie Osborne is leading protest about something or other, but Durrell will come out towards the left-hand side to take this one. This is probably the most difficult part of the field to get a delivery in from, but if there's anybody for Wrexham who can do it with a good right foot that would test the Moors win into Ingrid, is Durrell. Kelleher and Hauer match man for man, so too are Vassell and Williams in the penalty area. Yusuf is there with Maycott marking him too, so too is Harris with Cranston. Now the ball comes in, it's high going towards the back post, comes off for Kelleher and is rather ricocheted and then cleared by Cranston. Sabara holds it up for Osborne, and if Osborne, well, he's gotten around Young there, and he's got support from Rooney if he can find him, but he's just going to be tripped there, and Osborne once again in the referee's face, but he's clearly been caught there by Harris. I think he wants a booking. Carl Storers wrestling Osborne away from the referee. I think just trying to say point made. I think that's one of those, isn't it? Harris knows what he's doing there, and there's a few Wrexham players now. You were talking about Kelleher earlier having to be careful, being on a caution and having to time his challenges well with this weather. There's now a few Wrexham players in a similar position to him.
Well, that's it. We've got 5 bookings in the game so far, and it's not a dirty game, but each booking has been merited for it. So Wrexham with 3 cautions and 2 for Solihull Moors. Like I said, that Wrexham, he knew exactly what he's doing there. It's out of a danger area. Rooney was running clear through, so he had to take one for the team.
Yes, he did indeed. Storer will be the man getting this delivery in. This one should just be floated towards the left-hand side of the penalty area, you'd think, with Callum Howe trying to follow through there, although it's gone straight across to Cranston. Now Cranston will get the crossing towards the other side of the area. It's headed out there by Kelleher towards Hancock's, and now Storer looking to find the space as quickly as he can, but it's closed down. And now could be a counter for Wrexham. They're on the left side of the field now where the ball has just died in. Sabara's done a good job of stealing the ball from Jarvis, and there's 4 players forward. One of them is Osborne. Can he find the space for a shot? He's got Cranston in support if he wants to go that way, but Osborne's going to strike instead, and it's just not quite got the pace on it to beat Langton. But Osborne, once he gets a sight on goal from that distance, it's danger time no matter what.
Yeah, a very dangerous player, Osborne. We know all about him. Maybe that kick he got in the centre circles just fired him up a little bit more. He seems to be a bit more up for it this half already. We're only 5 minutes into the second half.
He does indeed. At the moment, it's still with the Wrexham defence. Kelleher just looking to play it through towards Davis, and a high ball towards Jarvis, who looked to be offside and is. Elliot Durrell screaming across towards his teammate there, who played that ball down the left-hand side. Durrell wanted it to go the opposite way, where he was in space.
Yeah, and to be fair, if Durrell had the ball there, he's the sort of player with the quality, with that vision, who can do the cross-field pass. I'm not too sure his teammate has that same quality.
Yes, that's true. I believe Dan Jarvis is a natural central midfielder, but playing, of course, wide left today. And what is effectively, it's really quite a natural 4-5-1, isn't it? We were suspecting before the kickoff that it was going to be a 4-3-3 maybe, but it's quite a Sabara trying to race through here against Jamie Reckle, but the ball does go through safely to Langton. But it is a conventional. Wrexham almost approaching this in terms of personnel and shape like it's a league game, really.
Yeah, like you say, they've gone with the 5 in the middle and just the 1 up front. Oh.
Wrexham wanting handball there against Tyrone Williams and not getting it, and now Cox is trying to race away down the right side and just getting tripped there, it appears, by Jarvis. And he gets the free kick and gets absolutely soaked after he goes down for his efforts. That is the worst part of the field down there. Now Durrell just trying to press high, but the ball does come out the way of Cranston, who runs just beneath us. Osborne available to the inside, but Cranston's going to try and go as far as he can down the field, and he's got a corner off of Horsfield there, so I think the Moors will be happy with that outcome.
Yeah, very happy with that. I mean, Cranston was up against Harris. He's got the pace to go past him, but it was whether there was any one in the box for the actual cross. So to get a corner from there is a great result for him. Yeah,
there are a couple of players forward, but not a whole lot of support. There certainly will be much more now. Osborne is on the corner. This is, of course, the angle from which he scored directly from the corner in last season's National League fixture between these two sides here. And now here it comes. Doesn't beat the man at the near post, but comes straight. Well, was going to come straight out to Cranston, but he has let it go, and it's a throw-in. I don't think he wanted to let it go, but go it did. We're just peeking out from our gantry, trying to see what happens here, as Cranston can't quite get the ball around Jordan Davis, and that's going to be a throw-in in the exact same position. Maycock available as a short option here. And the ball goes backwards to Hancock, being charged down by Durrell, but now Storer. Good high pressing from Wrexham here, but the Moors keep the ball in play and just keeping it in tight spaces. Now Cranston just caught there by Davis and gets the free kick. Moors this time, just at the start of this second half in the past couple of moments, doing well to keep possession, and you can see just signs there that maybe Wrexham are beginning to get frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, they thought the one Frank was going for them, and he didn't. Neither the linesman nor the referee wanted to make a decision. The linesman kept his flag down and put it back firmly in the referee's court. Wrexham weren't happy about it. They just don't need to lose their heads over that, though. That's gone. Moors have now got a free kick, reset, pack the box full of the tall players, see what comes from here.
Yeah, Maycock, Howe, Williams, Rooney, all in the area. Osborne is not quite going to join him. He's in the area, but he's kind of towards the near side. The free kick comes in right towards the back post. How has he kept it in play? Yusuf there, I think, wanted to let it go out for a goal kick, and it didn't quite, but he's going to get a throw in a fairly advanced position anyway, at least from where it was. And Jamie Record will get this one away inside to Young, and what that tricky wet patch does there is allows the Moors to press high up the field and go and win balls like that, although it doesn't quite come off of them for them, as the ball rather bounces away awkwardly against Sabara. Now Storer doesn't get the decision on the touchline there, so here comes Wrexham down the left hand side. Durrell joins the move down there this time and then spins away looking for help from Harris. Horsfield is available down the right as well, and Harris is surely going to go that way. Cranston comes out to him. Now Harris, Durrell just peeling away from Howe, but then losing the ball almost anyway to Jamie Osborne. Now it's outside once again with Horsfield. Now Vassell. And this is a pretty good spell of possession from Wrexham, and the deflected effort almost falls the way of Yusuf. Osborne will play chase against Kelleher. Looks as if the pitch is a bit worse in the Wrexham half of the field, and it's letting the Moors push a bit higher. Stato.
Yeah, it's normally the drain tech end is the one which holds the water more, what with the downhill slope and also with the 4G pitch there. I wonder if, knowing that, the ground staff have looked at that at half time and concentrated on that, not realising actually how much rain is also coming down the top end of the pitch.
That's what they did, because that's the only end I'm pretty sure they worked on at half time.
Yeah, they concentrate on the drain tech end, knowing that's the worst end for holding the water. But obviously, with the amount of rain we've had over the last few hours, where it's just been constant, there's quite a number of puddles appearing when players are making tackles and kicking the ball.
Well, the rain is nearly stopped. It certainly looks about the brightest it's looked for since about midday, I'd guess, before it really started to rain. At the moment, it is Rooney that's down. Looks like he's given a okay signal, or sounded like anyway. Looks like he'll just hop off towards our side of the field for now. Going to allow some of the players from both teams to regroup, and I guess what you can say now is that with the rain stopping, you hope that that's the end of any concerns about this game being called off prematurely.
Yeah, without any further rain, we should be able to continue.
So the game will get back underway with the free kick for the Moors after Howe was tugged by Yusuf, although it looked like 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other there. The ball now once again comes back the way of Boot, who will presumably have no other choice than to just clear high here. Sabara gets a flick on towards Osborne, and it's a good one. And Maycott making a burst forward. So too is Rooney towards the far side, but Osborne's going to run at Vassell here and then play it forward, but not able to play it forward towards Rooney. Ball comes back Osborne's way, and now Storer sees the space of Cranston on the left, and it's a solid first touch from the Moors left wing back. He's still going to take on Horsfield. Got Hancock's in support behind, but he's going to try and get inside and then play the ball towards Hancock's up against Durrell, and is that a penalty? Yes, it is. So Durrell there just catching Hancock's, and the Moors get the decision. And of course it was Jamie Ward who opened the Moors season from the penalty spot in terms of goals. Looks like it's going to be Rooney this time. Your take on that, Stato?
Yeah, it's great play by the Moors. When you get the left wing back and the left one of the three centre halves coming down, racing down the wing, it's what we said earlier. The Moors are able to attack in numbers with regards to that. As for the penalty, yeah, it's a penalty with the Moors hat on.
Well, Rooney will strike this Leighton, making himself as big as he can. So he struck with the right foot, and here comes Rooney, and it's gone into the bottom right hand corner from Leighton's perspective. Leighton being sent the wrong way, and it is Solihull Moors 2, Wrexham 0. And you had the sense, just with the way the momentum was going more than Moors' way towards the end of that first half, that they had an opportunity to go and kill off this tie. And while they haven't done that just yet, certainly the second goal goes a long way towards that.
Yeah, it's a massive mountain for Wrexham to pick themselves up now. They're 2-0 down. They think it's unjustified, the penalty that's going there. Rooney actually looks in a bit of trouble here. That could have been his last kick of the game, and all the way to go out with a goal. He's signalling to the referee. The referee's not too sure if he's actually just time wasting, but he's certainly signalled to the bench that he's not happy.
Well, Archer is ready and waiting on the far side, and it looks like the Moors are going to be able to make that change now. And indeed they will. So Rooney and Sabara just exchanging a bit of a little handshake, and now here comes Cameron Archer. So you were mentioning earlier, actually, would Aston Villa want to have Archer included in today's squad just with the prospect of him being cup tied? Well, clearly, obviously we knew our answer, and now he's on the field. And of course, he had a really good game. Let's not underestimate the impact that Cameron Archer made in his debut against Wrexham, as Hancock's almost lets the ball slip through to Yusuf there after winning the penalty.
Yeah, Archer was superb in the first game when he came on against Wrexham, left his mark and got his place in the team for the following game against Kings Lynn. It was unlucky in some people's eyes to be dropped for the following game, but that just shows the manager's mindset is, I'll pick a team to win a game.
Wrexham looking to get a breakaway at the moment as the ball came towards Yusuf on the left-hand side, but his effort was blocked. He didn't quite have the angle to work with there, and now Archer just looking to get away there, and looks like it's Young who's come away rather than just kind of holding his lower back there as a result of that. Nothing in it from Archer. Now the ball back with Horsfield. Once again, the Moors pressing high, but just talking about Archer, you don't look at him and think, well, there's a really strong player, but he looks the complete package.
Yeah, he's stronger than what he looks. When he comes in, you're thinking, how's a player coming from an academy as a Premier League team going to cope with Conference National Football? But he's come in and he's done well so far.
Well, he's away now at the moment, ahead of Vassell, and could he get it around the goalkeeper? Yes, he has. Cameron Archer. We were talking about how much of a complete player he was. He's already shown a little bit of physicality just in these couple of moments on the field, and there he shows the pace and the finishing instincts, getting behind Theo Vassell and beating Leighton. And that, I mean, we look back at 3-0 leads in Solihull Moors FA Cup ties with a little bit of discomfort nowadays, but that's certainly, once again, another huge step towards a place in the first round proper, isn't it, Sato?
Definitely so. I mean, at 2-0, you wonder how Wrexham are going to change it round. I mean, they came into the game looking like they're happy to keep it to 0-0 for long periods of time. They went 1-0 down, and then you're still thinking they're still in with a chance. 2-0 down, it only takes one mistake at the back. But a 3-0 now, you'd certainly be hoping the Moors can hold on, if not score more goals.
Yes, indeed. Certainly with the fresh legs of Archer on the field, it brings the counter-attack into play more and more, doesn't it?
It does, yes. I mean, in his very first challenge from Archer, as Wrexham go on, so I'll pass back to you, Ben.
Yeah, the ball was just coming in towards Yusuf there from the left-hand side. It looks like it was Jarvis that managed to get that one in, but Boot able to collect it with ease at his near post, and he initially goes to throw it to Cranston. But yeah, the counter-attack with Archer's pace, and of course Osborne has been playing a more influential role as the game has progressed. That's only going to make the Moors more and more dangerous, isn't it? And there is every chance that there could be more goals yet.
Yes, I mean, I'd rather they took out the deep end in that bottom corner there. Make sure there's nothing happening there. No. Yeah, like I say, Archer, completely different striker to Rooney. He's more willing to run and chase the balls in than what Rooney is, so offers a different dimension to what our experienced striker can do, and he's come on, he's made his mark straight away.
He has indeed, yes. The Moors, it's safe to say, after the Kings Lynn town, I was talking with one of their media members, just how tough it appears for Rooney to go into the side, as we've got a substitution being made. It's Kwame Thomas coming on and Jarvis goes off, so presumably Thomas is going to go into the middle with Yusuf moving out towards the left, so this is going to be more of a natural 4-3-3 now. This is basically the team that played against the Moors in terms of shape 18 days ago, albeit with Yusuf on the field and Durrell starting the game as opposed to coming on as a substitute. And of course there's a little bit of a difference in the back four as well. Ball just bouncing over Durrell there, and Cranston, well, he's got some space to attack here, and this is exactly what the Moors are going to be looking to take advantage of. He's actually going to try and get inside of everybody there and try and fire off a shot that just didn't have the pace on it in the end. I think Cranston might have gotten a little bit excited there with the work he'd done. Just enthusiasm rather getting the better of him there, you wonder. But I think even though it's such a difficult thing to say when we look at the Moors 3-0 up against Wrexham, and we've been saying all game that these are two very evenly matched sides, but it goes to show that maybe this lead does flatter the Moors, but it goes to show just how much Jimmy Shan and his side and his backroom staff have been able to make the most of the opportunities that have come their way throughout the course of the season so far, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely so, and it shows they have a game plan, but they've also got the freedom to adapt as well, and that showed with the second goal for the penalty. The fact that you got Hancock's and Cranston running down the wing together. There's not many teams at this level which will do that, as Wrexham prepare to take a corner.
There's not many teams that will play two left wing backs and play them like left wing backs. I think that's fair to say. The corner comes in and there is a Wrexham man that wins it. It looks like that was Davis, and it is scrambled away by Sabara, and here comes the foot race involving Archer, and Leighton just sees the ball away from him to the right hand side, and now Young will try and guide it forward. Yusuf races in to try and win the header against Callum Howe, but the Moors do see it away. Cranston just can't quite win it there. He got a foot to it, but nothing more. It was all he could do, really. As Jamie Osborne just sees the ball out once again, just directly below us. Yeah, but for those of you who have just joined the broadcast, the goal scorers for the Moors, Joe Sabara just before half-time. And here he is on the ball now, and Archer just trying to hold his line, and there he does. And can he get by Kelleher? Is he maybe just showed too much of the ball? Good strength, and now can he get around both he and the goalkeeper? Not quite. Leighton comes out and makes himself big.
Yeah, it's a great save there by Rob Leighton. Again, Archer, he's just showing his strengths. He's probably given about 6 inches away to Fiacca Keller there, who, you know, he's not easily pushed off the ball, but Archer, lower centre of gravity, he's managed to get past him there. And thankfully for Wrexham, Leighton was able to come out early doors and read it well. Does
that low centre of gravity help on with the tricky conditions? In terms of going up against a much bigger man like Kelleher there in a strength-for-strength matchup?
Possibly so. Like I say, he's different to Rooney. Rooney's more of aerial battle with Kelleher. Now Kelleher's going to know with Archers everything's going to be more coming on the feet, which brings into play the yellow card we mentioned in the first half.
Yes, it does indeed. And of course it brings into play the possibility of more penalties as well, should those challenges be mistimed in those positions. Looks like there's going to be a change for the Moors, and Jamie Osborne is going to go off towards the far side here, and on in his place will be James Ball. So Ball actually looks like it's going to be a double change, because there's another man being readied, and Callum Howe, who had an injury concern earlier, is going to be the man to make way. He of course was involved in that collision with Adi Yusuf that nearly saw Wrexham come away with a chance at 0-0. So it's going to be Piggott who will come on for Howe, and James Ball will slot into the position that has now become customary for him, essentially just towards the left side of the attacking midfield duo alongside Joe Sabara. And there comes Piggott on in place of Howe, and with a 3-0 lead, Jimmy Shan sees fit to give one of his young guns a few extra minutes. Game will resume, of course, with a Wrexham throw just on this near side through Horsefield, and Thomas does manage to nod it forward towards Durrell. We were just in the middle of guiding you through what's happened in this game so far in terms of the goal scorer. Sabara with a deflected effort just towards the end of the first half. As Storer pushed down Young there, no, says the referee, so the attack will assume or resume down the right hand side with Harris getting the ball in towards Thomas. It could be dangerous for Moores to deal with. It evades just about everyone. Cox in the end goes down off of a slight challenge from Yusuf. Defence getting the benefit of the doubt there. Moores get a free kick. But yeah, Sabara getting the first goal off that deflected effort after Rooney didn't have the time to get a shot away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Then the second goal, Rooney on the penalty after Hancock was tripped by Elliot Durrell after he made the overlapping run past Jordan Cranston. And then the third goal, the breakaway from Cameron Archer just a couple of moments after coming on as a substitute, and he fired past Leighton just towards the far corner of the goal, and that's where the goals have come from so far from a Moors perspective. Wrexham have had the better of the possession, or at least they did for much of the first half, but not really many opportunities going their way in terms of clear-cut chances. Probably the one that they did have was that one where Record spun around just at the near post from our perspective over at the tuck shop end, and just couldn't quite get it on target. That's really the closest Wrexham have come to any kind of goal-scoring threat. They might have one now though, with defenders coming forward, Vassell, Kelleher up there with Yusuf, and Kwame Thomas should pose some more of a threat here. Really the biggest man in this Wrexham side, Stato.
Yeah, Kwame Thomas is always going to be a threat in the air. For the set pieces, for the flick-ons, maybe not so much the danger in front of goal himself, but he's there to set it up. And that's where Wrexham will change it now. They've had Ada Yusuf up front on his own all game. Now bringing on Kwame Thomas, hoping to get Durrell in, to be fair. If Solihull Moors can keep Elliot Durrell quiet, then Wrexham won't win.
Yeah, it certainly, Durrell has been kind of where the threats come from. Cox at the moment trying to get a ball down towards Sabara, and he beaten Harris, he's tried, and it looks like that's gone out for a goal kick. Indeed it has. But an interesting point on Thomas is the way Tim Flowers used him was basically for Ryan Boot to clear out towards the wings, and then Thomas would always get those kind of flick-ons on the right-hand side. That was generally his role with Tim Flowers' Moors teams. But it seems like Dean Keats wants to use him more central. Do you think that's more effective or less?
He certainly will be more effective playing straight down the middle. As Yusuf's got the ball, trying to go past 4 defenders, but Storer brings it out to James Ball. Kwame Thomas, if you can't really pick a player just to be standing out on the wing and to head on goal kicks or free kicks, unfortunately. We tried to do the same thing with Nathan Blissett last season with him. We've come in to replace Kwame Thomas. And again, a natural goal scorer like Blissett, who the width of the penalty area is a match for anyone in this division. But we tried to play him out wide.
So you think Thomas better in the middle, even though Yusuf is perhaps a more natural goal scorer out of the two?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you're going to put one of them out wide, I'd maybe put Yusuf out wide because he's got more ability of running at defenders. But you don't want to be playing them the two. I mean, play them in the 4-4-2, keep them both central, and get the wingers to go wide and put the crosses in. And you know, Kwame Thomas and Yusuf, they'll put their head in, they'll put their foot in, they'll get stuck in. But making them come out wide to fetch the ball for themselves, well, then there's only one other striker that they can cross to.
Yeah, it is indeed. I think if you're going to play them together, then playing them in a 4-4-2 when Anthony Jeffrey is fit and you can get Durrell and Jeffrey on the field to supply them service, that could be a potent combination, as Record here is having to twist and turn in all sorts of directions to try and find space to play back towards his goalkeeper, and eventually does do so before Hancock wins the header. But yeah, you do feel like if you're going to have them together, then playing them in a 4-4-2 might be the way to get the best out of them, mightn't it, from a Wrexham perspective?
Oh, definitely so. At the end of the day, they're both strikers. They both want to play in the middle. From that respect, you need to play to their strengths.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Archer at the moment was just, I think he was looking to play Sabara through, and now the Storer might have played him through, but he is offside. That looked close from my perspective, although I don't know how much I was watching the centre-backs there. I think you thought it was quite considerably off their stature.
Yeah, the centre half had seen where the ball was going to be played, and you just took the step up and he read it better than Sabara did.
Yes, substitutions coming for Wrexham, and it's Hall Johnson finally making his way onto the field in place of Horsfield. So that's a change, basically a like-for-like change at right back. It's effectively the first choice right back coming on. Thomas just about manages to win the ball in the air, but Kelleher couldn't control it with his first touch. Now Harris is trying to guide it back inside to Thomas, who's showing good strength there to get away from both Hancock and Maycock, and had a go there. Set up nicely for him, just couldn't quite guide it the way he wanted.
Yeah, he was unfortunate there. He worked hard there to get the ball played forward, and he's just had the snapshot. Maybe a bit more composure, maybe realised he could have taken a touch and gone a few yards closer to the goal and trouble Ryan Boots even more so.
Yeah, there are definitely options on there for Thomas, and that's certainly the kind of threat that he can bring for the visitors here. Boot just looking to play out towards the right hand side, but Record sees that one off comfortably. Now Yusuf can hold up the ball, and now here's Young and Record on the overlap against Williams. Wondered if maybe he could have gone down there, but the cross will come in now, and Maycock sees it off, but there's still the attack alive, and now Davis crossed towards Thomas, and Hall Johnson was there at the back post still. 4 Wrexham players forward, and does it bounce in? No, as Piggott almost gets in the way of Ryan Boot there, and Boot, I think, must have just pulled out at the right last second, and Piggott just dove out of the way for Boot to collect.
Yeah, Pickett's original header there come back off Adi Youssef said, and I think he wanted to rectify his own mistake, but Ryan Boots, total command of the 6-yard box, made no doubt he's in charge.
I think that's really been, from my perspective, the standout thing so far this season from Boot. He's always been a great shot stopper. And he's always had good command of his box. He's always been able to collect balls well from set pieces, which is always, with a smaller keeper by Boots standards, or by goalkeeper standards I should say, you do have that concern, but Boots always been very good at that and at the shot stopping side. I think last season he really improved in his ball distribution, and this season his command of the box seems better than ever. He looks like a complete goalkeeper now.
Yeah, maybe some credit needs to go to Kevin Poole there as well as Ryan Boots. Obviously, Kevin Poole's coming in the summer, new coach, new training methods, and a lot of experience. And that's no slant on Darren Acton, who had plenty of non-league experience, but a different coach, new ideas, and maybe just to teach Bootsy that little bit more to help him progress in his own career.
Well, that's exactly what Niall Clayton singled out as why he was so excited to join the club, as now Maycock has done a great job of winning the ball away from Harris, and he's got ball to his left, Sabara and Archer to his right. He goes left, and now his ball, he's going to try and hold up, but slips, and then he gets it back, and can he slot it inside? He can, and Sabara makes it 4, and that's a brace for him. And well, there you go, that's exactly what we were saying about the counter-attack. Kind of Maycock really making that all happen.
Yeah, Maycock wins it in the centre circle there, breaks down a potential Wrexham attack, and straight away the Moors are attacking, they know where the goal is, they go forward, 4-0.
Indeed, and Maycock was really quite impressive in the pre-season in terms of the way that he chased down a lot of balls. His work rate really stood out, and if anything, probably his weakest showings have been in the games where Jimmy Shan has given him the opportunity to start in competitive matchups. But here, he's done a great job of winning that ball, and he's made himself a presence in really both areas throughout. He seems to have that kind of box-to-box James Ball type of energy that we saw from Ball last season before Ball shifted into that more advanced role.
He does, with a bit more physicality about him as well. And again, he's come on, 25 minutes to go, and this is his chance to say to the gaffer, look, pick me, I'm here every week.
Certainly, ball just been caught there as he tries to steal the ball away from Harris, who of course lost the ball there for that 4th goal. I guess if we're not anxious, if we're anxious about 3-0 leads, then we can certainly not worry so much now about 4-0 leads, as Sabara just trying to make a run out towards the far side. Cranston there able to get around Durrell, but the Moors will just look to slow the game down a little bit, you would expect. You would think that this is a case of job done, as Davis wins a throw in there off of Maycock. And I think Wrexham were looking through Hall Johnson to try and get Kwame Thomas away down the right there off of that throw, but the Moors sniffed it out. Now Kelleher will look for the long ball, goes beyond Thomas, and that will it run out? It does eventually. It's difficult to read the ball at times, isn't it? Because it seems to skid off the turf on the first bounce and then die on the second.
It does. I don't know whether it's a swirling wind as well, perhaps down there. Each corner flag seems to be going in a different direction at the moment. But yeah, so that ball's a classic example there. It looked like he was just going to spin out, and then it looked like he was going to stop, then he spins out again.
Moore's looking to play out from the back, which you do have the luxury of trying to bring players forward. A hard challenge there by Storer against Davis, and here comes Maycock once again, try and guide the ball through to Archer, and it is a good one, but it's the first touch from Archer allows Vassell to retrieve the ball, and Wrexham do get a free kick as Davis cleans up the pieces. Now potentially some space for Harris to try and play the ball, although Maycock closes him down and then Harris turns him. Now the ball towards Youssef is headed on, but Record was not really in the kind of position that Youssef would have wanted him to be. But now Record has the ball come straight back his way, and he almost picks out Kwame Thomas, but Ryan Boot, once again, alert as ever. Now Ball finding himself back in the defensive midfield role. And here's Cox. You can see now the Moors are just looking for more of those long balls, aren't they? They're looking to get Archer into the game as much as they can, as Cox is just caught there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reckless challenge, whether that's just frustration of what's coming through for Wrexham at the moment. Needless, to be fair. But Moors have got to be careful not to react on there. I mean, Cox is wanting a yellow card. The last thing he needs is a second yellow for pushing. And we have a second red card in a week.
Of course, yes. And the Moors certainly don't have too many options on that position. I suppose you could bring Tyrone Williams out to right wing back, but then you're limiting yourself at centre back even more than you already are. Jordan Cranston's going to get the free kick in from... This will be an in-swinging free kick here, you would think, unless Storer fancies this one himself. Make up once again on the edge of the area. Tyrone Williams is forward, so too is Piggott. Ball is just towards the back post. Will be Storer. And it was going in towards Williams, but he's just adjudged to have pushed his man down there, and the free kick goes Wrexham's way.
Yeah, frustrating that from a manager's point of view. You get the set piece ready, you've probably practiced that all week, and they get across, and then Tyrone Williams there just couldn't resist pushing the Wrexham defender.
Clearance from Langton is won by Williams, and now the ball is coming towards Yusuf, who was offside there. Good first touch from Yusuf, despite that. Recall him scoring in a similar manner in a game at Eastleigh, the opening day of the 18-19 season, where the Moors, quite frankly, should have been 5-0 down at half-time and won the game 2-1. Ryan Boot had a debut to remember, and there was a ball that was played... I think it was an attempt to play back towards the goalkeeper with a bouncing ball from one of the Eastleigh midfielders that day, and Yusuf intercepted it in the middle of no man's land and went and buried it in the net, and that was almost a repeat of that, or it might have been had Yusuf not just strayed offside. Maycock just playing a 1-2 with Cranston and ball. The Moors in possession, once they've... This is the thing with Jimmy Shan. This is the most natural Jimmy Shan Moors side that we've seen throughout the season. Okay, yeah, you can talk about Kings Lynn Town as well, but I think the consensus there was maybe that Kings Lynn just didn't really have the speed to live with Cameron Archer on that day. This is a much better defensive side than Kings Lynn Town. And once the Moors have gotten into the lead, they've had the confidence in them to be more adventurous and to command possession and not just command in terms of shape. And I guess that the next natural step for Jimmy Shan, if you can suggest any improvements on a 4-0 lead against a team like Wrexham, is to show that kind of command when the game is 0-0 and you are struggling to make things happen. Is can you go and grab command of a game when it's 0-0 at the hour mark and it's tight and cagey?
Well, I'm certainly not going to give Jimmy Shannon advice on how to run a team, especially when we've put 4 past Wrexham for the first time ever. But it's just been great.
I'm more trying to guess what he might say after a game like this, because he always looks for... He always says that we have things we can improve on. And I'm just trying to identify what's the one thing that he might look to improve, and that's what I'm just anticipating he might say.
I'd be interested to see what he can improve on this performance, apart from the weather. The key for me here today was the Moors. As soon as we went 2-0 up, a 1-0 up, there's always the danger. You're going to defend and you're going to go deeper and you're going to deeper, and then Wrexham will push more and more on. That second goal there gave that buffer zone, and then straight away we changed it. Rooney come off because he felt a knock. Archer comes on and he lays down his marker straight away, getting that second and third goal so quickly together. It was brilliant.
Callum Maycock just going in the book there. Free kick is going to come in from Jordan Davis just towards the right hand side, and this once again is a chance to get the likes of Kwame Thomas into play, and the ball does go his way, goes across the area, and that's an important intervention from Cranston that's going to sail way over Ryan Boot's crossbar and out for a corner. Important intervention there, because there was a Wrexham man right behind Cranston in an ideal position to strike.
Yeah, and it just comes down to the decision making, and today Solihull Moors' decisions have been better than Wrexham's decisions, whether it's a short pass, a long pass, just to mix it up there, and that's what's been so pleasing about the Moors' performance today, the decision making by the players.
I think another pleasing aspect as well, I won't mention it just yet because Wrexham could always score from this corner as the ball comes in towards Kelleher, and once again the Moors do win it in the air, but it comes back down to Vassell, and he's just going to try and poke it in. Yusuf almost getting it away from Boot there, but in the end the Moors keeper is able to collect. But what I was going to say as well is, considering that Wrexham have the likes of Yusuf and Kwame Thomas going forward in the air, okay, I know Thomas didn't start the game, so alarm ball comes towards Sabara, but he is offside. I think probably the foundation of this performance is the fact that I can barely remember the Moors losing the ball in the air inside the final third.
No, we've been commanding in the air. Tyrone Williams has been a rock, as he has been the past few weeks. He's not let either Thomas against him or Yusuf win anything in the air, and that's what's been pleasing as well. At the back, we've looked strong. Ryan Boot obviously keen to keep another clean sheet. I know it's the FA Cup, it's all about the win, because winner takes it all, but Booty just wants that clean sheet now.
Yes, he does. He had to deal with a very awkward back pass from James Ball there, but that's really a sign of the communication between the players. Jimmy Shan, after the Leamington pre-season friendly, was talking about how he wanted the players to form bonds and form relationships, with the idea that they read each other better on the field, and even just little nuances there, like that back pass from Ball going to Boot. They seemed to know exactly what was going on, and Boot seemed to know exactly what type of tricky ball was going to come his way and how to deal with it accordingly.
Yeah, it's anticipation. If you know the players around you, you know what they're going to be doing. So you know they're not just going to turn around and go towards the opposition goal, that they know that the keeper's gone beyond there for him, the keeper's comfortable with that, and then the left back knows that, well, if the keeper's going to get the ball, I need to make myself open for that second pass. So and that's the beauty of the full-time training that Solihull Moors have. They can work on these things, and getting those bonds is key to a successful season.
Just everything coming together on this day for the Moors. Joe Sabara with 2 goals, Adam Rooney from the penalty spot, and Cameron Archer coming off the bench to get himself on the score sheet as well. Thomas wins a ball there, but Hancock gets the second ball. If they're not winning the first ball, they're always winning the second ball. And generally where they are losing the first ball, the Moors, it's always kind of 30 yards from goal rather than 15 yards from goal. And that's the key. You don't have to win the first ball every single time in those positions.
Yeah, the Moors have done really well in protecting the penalty area today. They've been happy for Wrexham to pass the ball from left to right to midfield and to pass it back again. And whilst Wrexham have done that, they haven't looked dangerous. They've not put the defence under attack at all, in all fairness.
Flick on towards Yusuf, who is offside. I was trying to spot the linesman just to the right of our gantry here, and he did indeed flag offside against Yusuf, who has a bit of a shout in that direction. What's the linesman supposed to say in that scenario?
They'll probably just say, oh, it was only a couple of inches when it could have been like 3.5 feet.
So it's effectively just an indication of how far it would kind of effectively data gathering for next time.
That's it. That they just show that they understand, but there was a gap and couldn't let him go away with it.
So a long ball that could bring Cranston into play, but Leighton will get it away, and the ball is coming our way and goes just a couple of yards in front of us. Just a bit of confusion as to exactly where the ball is going to come from. They'll of course want a ball that is sanitised, and Jordan Piggott picks one up for Hancocks. What a delight to see no rain. We've almost forgotten about it, of course. It's been raining goals more than water in this second half, as Ball just about squeezes it away from Kwame Thomas and plays it back to Hancocks, and then through Piggott back to Ryan Boot. Cranston with an excellent first touch just out on the left wing, and will play a long ball towards Sabara, who I think is onside this time, and he does get around the goalkeeper. And
offside.
Can he get his hat trick? Oh no, he's offside. That's unfortunate. That looked to go up late. That was close.
Yeah, there was a delayed flag from the linesman. I think he was waiting to see which of the two strikers went forward, but Sabara was definitely off in that position.
Sabara was furthest to the right of that move. Now Wrexham going to try and attack the left-hand side as Jamie Record gets beyond a couple of players there, and Tyrone Williams does a good job to slide and win the ball there before it gets to Kwame Thomas. And not only does he slide and win it, he gets up and clears it away. That's excellent stuff from Tyrone Williams, who was absolutely instrumental in the game against Boreham Wood. He's won a lot in the air, but it doesn't feel like he's had to do all that much in this game. It feels like the work has been more evenly spread across the three defenders.
Yeah, they've all put a shift in today, but again, Tyrone Williams, he set the standard over the last few games, and that's why he probably hasn't appeared to have done as much today. It's just because it's become his normal standard.
Ball once again is going to come towards Archer, who tries to get around Vassell rather than making the vertical run. So it looks like we have 4 minutes of stoppage time. 4 minutes of stoppage time. And 4 on the board, of course. We almost thought that Joe Sabara had that hat-trick, but it was not to be.
And to be fair, he's
able to keep that ball in there.
And I was going to say, Sabara's work rate today, he probably does justify a hat-trick. He's been absolutely immense today. For a small bloke, he does so much in the centre midfield.
If there's anything you think of when you think of Joe Sabara, you think of work rate, don't you?
Definitely, as Archer runs through.
Yeah, Archer looking to make it 5, not quite able to do so. He had ball to his inside if he wanted to go there. Ball looking, of course, for a goal in 2 home games against Wrexham. But the Moors will come away with a corner. It's rather unfortunate for Joe Sabara, really, that if there's any scenario in which he's least likely to score from, it's a set piece. I can't make that joke, though.
No, Sabara, he knows his position. He's just come out to the edge of the area, wanted to pick up the bits and pieces that might fall to him. But obviously the main thing here for the Moors is the tall players, Ball, Tyrone Williams.
Don't worry, Joe, I'm on your side. Cranston with the low ball that evades almost everyone. It's cleared away by a red shirt. It was closest to Piggott. Now the wind is making this a little bit more difficult for Cameron Cox than it perhaps ought to have been, but Boot will just play it straight back his way. And now here's Sabara. Look to play the 1-2 with Cranston, and now to try and get Maycock through, although it's a bit too far wide of the central midfielder. But I think, all in all, there's just, I mean, I was talking earlier, of course, about what I believe, because Jimmy Chan always says, we could improve on these little things. And of course, I was trying to play devil's advocate and pick one out a few moments ago. But really, there's nothing to fault about this performance. It's been superb. When you go out and beat a side like Wrexham 4-0, it says a lot about you going forward, doesn't it?
Yeah, when the draw was made, there was a lot of frustration amongst the Moors camp, you know, that we got at home to Wrexham. With all the other teams that were in the draw, it was a difficult draw. But I said at the time then, we might not be happy with it, but Wrexham certainly would not be happy with it. 4-0 win against Wrexham. First round of the FA Cup. 5th year on the bounce. I think we're the only non-league team to win in the 4th qualifying round, 5 seasons on the bounce. So it's another feather in our cap, and who knows what the next round will bring.
Yeah, indeed. So if we mentioned that it's 3 of the last 4 years that the Moors have been in the second round proper. Of course, it was the first round proper in which the Moors got knocked out in the year which they didn't make the second. Of course, losing against Wycombe Wanderers at home 2-0, which was actually, believe it or not, my first ever commentary here at Hampden Park. So always a bit of a special sentiment calling an FA Cup game here for those of you tuning in, and we hope that, well, certainly a fair few of you tuning in won't have had the best of times today from a Wrexham perspective, but hopefully those of you from a Moors perspective have enjoyed yourself, and we do thank you, supporters of both teams. Indeed, those of you who are neutrals, if there are any of you watching who have chosen to join us for this broadcast on Solihull Moors TV in association with Primrose's Kitchen, and it's looking like for the fifth straight year, as you've just mentioned, Sato, that it is going to be for a fifth straight year, that the Moors will be in the hat for the first round proper. And of course, there's, what do you want in from a Moors perspective in the draw? Do you want to go for? Would you want an away tie where you get to play in front of a fan base, like say a Hitchin Town a couple of seasons ago, for example, or would you rather bring a League One team to Damson Park? What would be your take on that as a full-time whistle blows?
It would be great to progress to maybe get to that third round proper, get to the Holy Grail, and maybe draw a big team, a Man United, an Aston Villa, a Liverpool. Maybe get a TV game so where you get all the money that comes in with it. Obviously, it's different now being played behind closed doors. Where do you want? Because you don't, as a supporter, you don't want a tie that you can't go to. Officially, of course, if we draw a smaller team like Hitchin Town, we wouldn't be able to go, being supporters of elite club. Officially, but we'll wait and see what the draw brings Monday night.
Well, the Moors certainly did look elite today out on the field. 2 goals from Joe Sabara, the first coming in the 39th minute with the deflected effort just in front of the drain end, and his effort coming after Rooney was looking to get a shot away at the edge of the 6-yard area, could not quite do so, but Sabara's deflected shot going into the net. Then the second goal coming from the penalty spot from Rooney after Mitch Hancock was tripped up. Then Cameron Archer scoring the third just a couple of moments after being introduced as a substitute. So he raced away towards the right hand side and beat Lainton with his shot. And then the fourth goal was effectively a tap-in, and the second for Joe Sabara. So really a fantastic performance. You can't say any fairer than that. The Moors in the draw for the first round proper for the 5th year running, and we will eagerly await Monday night, won't we, Sato?
We will indeed, if we can get down off this ladder.
Yes, indeed. We have had quite an experience indeed, a bit of a deluge, but fortunately the Moors providing us with a deluge of goals to go with it. So it's thank you for those of you who joined us today on Solihull Moors TV in association with Primrose's Kitchen. I've been Ben McPhillips. Joining me was Stato, and we will say a good rest of your day, good rest of your afternoon, and good evening to those of you who have joined us. Take care.